Folks, we are LIVE live. I forgot to turn the intro video on. Wow. So we have some explanations to talk about. Let me just throw those on. It is one of those days. We have been doing some internet testing here over the past couple days, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got to talk about internet, we got to talk about Frightmare in the Falls, and we got to talk about the split show. This is one of the first times, I think the first time, I have ever done a split podcast. And we're going to talk more about that once we get into the Frightmare in the Falls stuff. Today is the 27th of October, which means this Friday is Halloween weekend. This is one of the rare times that Halloween falls on a Friday, which means you all and kids and everyone among us gets to sit back and enjoy Halloween the way I think it should. You get to sit back and go out, have a great night, and not have to worry about them going to school the next day, going to work the next day. So I hope you guys all have a great Halloween evening. I've got nothing really on the Friday. I will be walking around in that guy around my neighborhood, who is now a dual champion. Stan the Mannequin is rocking the dual championships. I'll be walking around all night on Friday with him. I put the lights in, so we're going to do that. That'll be the test run. And then Saturday, I will be seeing at least one person in the chat right now at a Halloween party at a friend of the podcast, David Thorne. And that'll be my Halloween. You know, I don't usually give out candy because I'm usually too busy walking around. No, I will not be on fire. If you guys caught my video on my Instagram, there was a video that someone sent me of a Ghost Rider cosplayer on a motorcycle, and he looks like he lit his jacket on fire. And I got sent the video from a friend, and I was like, there is no way in hell I'm ever doing something like that. I am married. I do not need to impress anybody anymore. I used to be, I wouldn't say a daredevil, but I wouldn't care about doing crazy things, jumping off roofs when I was younger, being a wrestling fan, stuff like that. I'm 37. I'm married. I don't need to do that stuff anymore. I got a wife downstairs who likes not having to take care of me because I do stupid shit. So, no, I will not be on fire. That will be the only fire that will be lit on Friday night. Let's jump into a little bit of the news, and then we're going to jump into the Frightmare, and then we're going to talk about the second topic of the day, useless sidekicks. Mary Reichman with Wuss. Wow. Thanks. For those who don't know, that's my mom. My mom, who is the one who shit talks me about jumping off her roof when I was a little kid, is now calling me a wuss. I see how it is. Let's talk about internet, because this has been an ongoing problem, and we actually had someone come by the house today and actually look at our internet and give us some answers finally. We have been dealing with internet issues in this house for months, if not years, with streaming issues and all that. Here's the thing. So we have had some spikes, some drops and stuff. You may have noticed it in previous episodes. We are with a new company now. We were with sort of a minor company. Now we're with a major company. And we're still having a little bit of issues, especially over the weekend while I was away. So we got them to bring a tech out today, and I got to have a conversation with the tech. So the big problem we're having is the upload. Because right now I'm uploading this video consistently to the server, and it is going out on YouTube, and we have TikTok over here. What our plan is 1,000 download and 100 upload. That's what we're paying for, and that's what most plans are. Well, we have been hitting 30 upload and not ever really cracking it. We've cracked it like a 31, 32, but nothing close to 100. We have had people come over to the house who do internet for big buildings and stuff. They couldn't figure it out. We've called our old provider back in the day. We changed modems, routers, cables, placement, everything. The guy came today from the internet company, and I told him the problem right off the bat, and he said, well, that's because you can't get over 30. And I went, what do you mean you can't get over 30? He said, that's where you live, that's the area that you're living in. That's the cap, is 30. You will never get over 30. You may get 1 or 2 points, but you will never get 100 in this area. And I was like, oh, interesting. He said, yep, that's just the way it is. He goes, if you want 100 and you need 100 for something, you need to move. And I was like, oh, okay. So I told him about the podcast, and he said, you should be good at 30. He goes, it looks like you've been consistently just at 30 or over 30. You've not dropped at all. So he said, you should be good. And from what I've seen and what people have messaged me about last week's show, it seems to have done pretty well. During the week, I had a couple people, Pretty Nerdy Crystal was one of them. We did a quick private stream that none of you can see, just to see how it held up, and it does seem to be holding up with one person. We're going to try again probably next week with 2 people. We did have Freakish Workshop in the show as well, but he was having some internet problems at the time, so it wasn't really a good test. But yeah, so it seems like we can get one person on here, and the stream seems to hold up. So that means we're probably going to have a guest on here at some point. I'm going to talk to a couple people, at least get one person. I would love to have more than one because I like having the banter between 2 or 3 people. But if the most we can do is one other person, then that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll have one of you guys on the show. But I definitely want to have more guests on here because I love talking about my own stuff, but I feel like I want to have conversations with people, whether it's to do about Comic-Cons, whether it's to do about cosplay, movies, all the whole stuff we talk about here. So if everything works out tonight and a couple more tests during the week, we're going to stick with this major company and we're going to see how everything goes, and hopefully we can have some more guests on here. Fingers crossed. Messiah, it's a trap. Well, here's the thing. I was going to have you be one of the people on here. I've actually had a topic on my list with your name on it for a very, very long time, and I've been trying to get these kinks worked out because I want you and JS and all those guys, as well as Freakish Workshop, Pretty Nerdy Crystal, and a bunch of others on the show, but I want it to be a quality stream. I don't want there to be, because that becomes really annoying for you and the viewers. So we will hopefully have some new people on soon. Folks, if you do not hear from me over the next couple weeks, if I go radio silent, I am probably going to be in front of my PS5 because Thursday, Power Washer Simulator 2 was finally released. I am so excited about this game. If you don't know my love for this game, Power Washer Simulator 2 Power Washer Simulator 1 is a game that I love. It is such a stupidly relaxing game. I've had a bunch of people, I wouldn't say jump on the train, but when I tell them how much fun it is and they just are like, this is dumb, I don't know why you like it, I put them they play one level and they're like, okay, I get it. I get it. And Boomster Joe says that game title sounds so funny. Honestly, you are a guy it's a first-person view, you have a power washer, and you are power washing different things, vehicles, buildings, etc. It is the most relaxing game I've ever played. I usually play it with just my headphones in, listening to a podcast. There's no big thing you got to worry about, no big bosses or anything. And I've been waiting forever for Simulator 2 to come out, and it is finally out, and it has been nothing but glowing reviews, and I am super excited to get this game. And there are not many games that I want to pay full price day one, but this is one that I love, and I will be getting this ASAP. The only reason I'm not getting it right this moment is because I still have a little bit left of Resident Evil 5. I'm on part 6.1, and the total game goes to part 6.3. So I'm very close to finishing it, and we'll get into a little bit of that in the second half of this episode. But yeah, I'm very excited to get Power Washer Simulator 2. And last but not least, what do I have here? Oh, bookshelf. Something you'll see coming up on my my Instagram and stuff in the next little while. I'm working on a project for my wife. My wife usually doesn't want things for Christmas. She usually asks me to do things around the house, build her things. And if you've been on my Instagram before, I haven't really showcased it too much, but over the past couple of years, I have built her a giant wall bookcase, a custom bookcase for her wall. She is a very big reader, and we have reached the end of the wall, and now we are working on the corner. And I have been working on that for the past couple days. I have had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So it has been a lot of time working on that. Basically, I'm just putting up some poles, putting some brackets in, cutting some shelves, staining them, sealing them, assembling them. I want to showcase this a little more on my Instagram, and I want to talk about it here a little bit because this is something that I really think is something that people don't really realize when they start getting into the cosplay world, that the skills that you get in cosplay when you're building your cosplays does transfer over into the real world. And I don't just mean like if you're a foam smither, you can foam smith everything. The things that I have learned, especially from projects where I have been working on my cosplay, is things like patience and things not going right. I am very much a perfectionist. When I was first with my wife, when I was making my cosplays, I did not handle things breaking very well at all. I would completely shut down and not want to deal with it anymore. I would get to the point of almost wanting to break whatever I was trying to make into a million pieces. I did not deal with that well. But since I've been working with cosplay for so many years, I have built an understanding of, hey, things don't work out, things fall apart, things aren't built properly. It doesn't always work 100% of the time. And building this bookcase, I have realized that skill of patience and understanding and looking at things from other angles and stuff has really helped in work around the house. So it is something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, that people, people want to sew, and I'm going to sew, and I'm going to work on my foam. And it's like, no, there's a lot of internal and mental and understanding of the world that you can use a lot more into the world than just, hey, I made my cosplays better. So I'll be showing that off a little more, probably Wednesday. I got to go in the office tomorrow, but I will definitely be putting the final touches on everything for Wednesday, and I will show you all on Instagram what the final bookcase looks like. Well, final as of now. At this point, we're going to be wrapping the entire house in a bloody bookcase because she's a reader and she likes collecting books. So, guys, if your wife asks you to build a bookcase, you build a bookcase. That is it for the news. We're going to jump into Frightmare, then we're going to jump into the top 5. Folks, if you are still here, if you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, it means a lot to me that you're still here, especially on a Monday night when you could be doing anything else. I will do my absolute best to get you guys out of here by 8 o'clock or at least 8:10 so you can make sure that you are ready for the ball game tonight. Sponsor, as always, on the show. It means so much that you're here, but it wouldn't be a podcast without my beautiful, loving, amazing wife, which we just talked about for a few minutes. She is the sponsor. I love my wife, and I'm not doing it to be a suck up. It is serious. I am a better person because of my wife. I wouldn't be doing this or cosplay or have the cojones to do 12, 13, 14 cons a year without my wife. So, hun, I love you. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. You will always be my sponsor. And if you're watching on TikTok, please follow the channel. We're going to be doing a bunch more cosplay stuff over the next few weeks. We'll be doing some more videos. And if you want to talk on the podcast, hop over to YouTube, Corp Cosplay, and you can be a part of the conversation like these people in the chat, like Pretty Nerdy Crystal saying, I wish mine won't even fix the closet door that's coming off the wall. Can't help you there. Alex says sometimes smashing feels good. Messiah Complex saying paying my bills simulator. That's called adulthood. That is just being an adult. Oh boy. Yeah, there are so many simulator games and I've tried a bunch of them and nothing is fun. They're all too stressful. Like I tried, I think it was lawn cutting simulator. That got annoying real quick. There was the train one. I thought would be really would be good, but it's actually kind of annoying. Boomster Joe would love to see more cosplay. Well, you are going to see more cosplay. This year was going to be a very slow year when it comes to cosplay, but I've got 5 cosplays that I finished this year. And I guess I can kind of spoil it here, but not really. I've finally decided what my cosplay for 2026 will be. I will be doing one big build next year because this year is kind of a fixer-upper type year. But I will have a big build next year, and I'm going to be starting it very, very soon because I need to have it ready for Anime North, which is in May. All right, let's get into it, folks. Let's talk about Frightmare in the Falls. It was over the weekend in Niagara Falls, Ontario. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th year they've done this con. It is a completely horror-based con. This is one of the last ones of the season. I was volunteering. Why? Let's start with the beginning. Why is this a split show? Because originally this was just going to be a Frightmare in the Falls episode. The reason is because there wasn't a ton going on at Frightmare in the Falls, and that's not to do with nothing happening and it was a crummy con. There just wasn't a ton that was going on at the con when it comes to talking about. If you've been to the con before, you probably know what the con it is. And if you've been to any of that style of con, the either Niagara Falls Comic Con, Hamilton, Frightmare, Nickel City, and Buffalo, it's pretty much the same year over year over year, which is a positive because you know what you're getting into, but it can also be a negative to some people. The big thing this year was, sadly, 2 of their main guests had to drop out, canceled, whatever you want to call it. Richard Dreyfuss from the Jaws franchise and David Arquette, unfortunately, did not come, which is frustrating because I really wanted to meet David Arquette. As of this moment, Niagara Falls Comic Con, who is the same owners as Frightmare, have said David Arquette will be at Niagara Falls Comic Con this year, or 2026, I should say. So hopefully he will be there and I get to meet him. This is Justin Smith. Richard Dreyfuss just no-showed. Honestly, and I volunteer, I know people in the back, I don't know. I really don't know. Richard Dreyfuss does have a history of not attending and dropping out at the last minute. You know, I don't want to say it wasn't something that people expected to happen, but there was at least 5 or 6 people that talked to me the day before or the day of that were like, yep, we totally expected him not to come. So, you know, I don't know what that means. I don't know if the con can do anything about it. I don't know. It was frustrating for a lot of people because we had a lot of people coming for him because it was sort of a Jaws reunion with a lot of the other cast. It was a little busier than I thought it was going to be. When you have a con like this and you have main guests that sort of bring in a crowd, when those 2 major guests fall off, it kind of puts a question mark on how many people are still going to come. Like, you unfortunately can't get a refund, but it was a question. We didn't know if it was going to be still pretty busy or it was going to be a lot slower. It was pretty good, and there was some guests that did well that I was not expecting. The one of the few guests that I did have the opportunity to have a talk with was Michael Berryman, and if you know him, he is the star of The Hills Have Eyes. But I know him as a rock and roll fan. He was one of the principals, teachers, faculty staff in the Motley Crue video of Smokin' in the Boys Room, which I am a big Motley Crue fan. So it was amazing talking to him. We got to have a few seconds. He told us a story about getting arrested when he was younger in Hollywood. So really cool getting to have those opportunities and chatting with him before the con started. The only other real celebrity that I got to talk to was Michael Tate. And if you don't know who that is, he is the stunt double for Michael Myers in Halloween Kills. And it was really cool getting to talk to him, having a quick conversation about, you know, what was it like playing a character that was so iconic and you had another actor who was basically the main star of the movie, you know, trying to emulate him in some way. So it was a nice little conversation with him. Didn't really get a ton of time. But other than that, so the big ones were Halloween Town. Who has seen Halloween Town? or one of the 4 or 5 movies. This is a movie I've never seen. I knew it existed. I knew it had its fan base, but I didn't think this was that big of a franchise. But supposedly everyone saw this movie but me, because there was a buttload of people lining up to meet the 3 individuals, including Judith Hoag, who plays the mother, who is also April O'Neil in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from the early 90s. That was probably one of the biggest lines of the weekend that we did not expect to do as well as they did. Dee Wallace, who was the mother in E.T., I know her better, again, as a Michael Myers fan. She was one of the people in the Rob Zombie Halloween. I'd met her a bunch of times. Trying to think. The individual who played the creature in Jeepers Creepers did very well. A lot of people. Oh, Sean Cunningham was there. He invented and created the Friday the 13th franchise. I would have loved to have had a chance to meet him, but unfortunately did not get an opportunity because his line was lined up big time, which I didn't know. That's one of the things when probably they get the same feeling when they're building the con and how they're laying out the guests. There are certain guests you can kind of tell which ones are going to do well, because you just know they're a star, they've got a name value, they're in something recently. Then there are some like a Sean Cunningham, who was the creator of Friday the 13th. Now that's a big deal, but I'm not 100% how many times he's been in the area. And that's a weird thing. Like a John Carpenter or something like that, who directed Halloween, The Thing, etc. That's a name. Like, people know who John Carpenter is. Not a ton of people, unless you're in that fandom, know who Sean Cunningham is. And it's also, he's been a part of the franchise closer to now, but not really. So you're also dealing with that aging out of the fandoms to a point. So I didn't know how he was going to do, but it looked like he was doing very, very well. Basically, my day was just supervising the lines. We had a very good amount of staff there, volunteers that were doing a great job with the lines. We also had an issue. Well, I shouldn't say an issue, but this is something that we kind of have to think about, and we kind of play mental math with stuff like this. We have our team, the volunteer team, which runs the lines and makes sure all the lines are organized for all the celebrities. There's also a team on the other side of the table which help the celebrities, usually with the money and stuff like that. The problem is that that team shows up no matter what. We're going to be there, we get there, they show up, they don't know who they're going to be with, they find it when they get there, they meet the celebrity, they come to the table, day begins. The problem is, though, is sometimes the celebrities bring their own people, whether that's, someone from their agency, a family member, whatever, for various reasons. And they don't usually communicate that with the con. So that problem comes up because you have an entire team that shows up, usually one person per guest. And if half of them bring their own people, those individuals who volunteered have nothing to do. So we did have an excess amount of volunteers for what this con needed because those people really had nothing to do. So they helped on our side with the lines because most of them have done the lines before. That's usually the progression system of the conventions. So it was, I didn't want to say it wasn't needed, but there was an excess amount of people that, I was very good. I was very easy day just kind of walking around making sure there wasn't anything chaotic, and there really wasn't. It was most conventions, it starts off with a bang because everybody wants to get there first thing in the morning, get their autographs, get their photo ops, and then it slowly trickles down. That's exactly what happened. So it wasn't anything that was way over the top. Again, if we had David Arquette, if we had Richard Dreyfuss and stuff like that, that would have changed the perspective and would have changed the amount of people, but it wasn't that bad. We did some shopping, which was really nice. I did end up picking up a couple things. I should have brought them and I didn't. Alex in chat, he was on a vacation recently with his girl and brought me back some stuff and my wife some stuff, which I greatly appreciated. They went to Japan. I got a little stuffed Luigi and I got some mints, and my wife got a little Legend of Zelda pin, which I appreciate. While I was at the con, I picked up a couple comic books because I am a comic book fan. Let's not hit the light. So Rise of the Midnight Suns, $1 for a Ghost Rider comic. RoboCop Prime Suspect #1, and there was a booth giving away free comic book day issues, so I picked up Ranger Academy because I heard some pretty good things about it, and I don't know, give it a shot. It's a free comic. Also picked up a pin, which is on my backpack that I wear at the conventions, which says Born in the 80s, and it's got the 8-bit Mario on it, which I'm born in 88, so technically I'm an 80s kid. But other than that, that was kind of it. It wasn't really a lot to talk about. I didn't get to work online specifically and have conversations with, fans, celebrities, etc. It was kind of just an easy day. We actually ended up leaving early. The con ran to 7, but the individual I was with, my friend Edith, she lives in Tilsonburg, which is about a 2-hour drive from me, and it's about another hour and a half, or it's about another half hour, 40 minutes to Niagara, so she had a very long drive home. We carpooled together, so I said, why don't we try and duck out early so she can hit the road. She's also a Jays fan, so she wanted to get home for the Jays on Saturday. So we ended up ducking out at like 5 o'clock. So we didn't actually stay till the end of the con, and we were only there for the Saturday. We weren't there for the Sunday. So it wasn't anything to terribly talk about. If you enjoy horror, if you enjoy horror vendors, if you're looking for props and stuff like that, this was the con to go to. They will probably, I don't see why not, do it again next year. Justin Smith in chat said, I didn't like the floor map this year. It didn't show you where exactly each celebrity was, where the number table compared to previous years. I noticed that too. That is something that caught my eye too. Usually, for those who don't know what we're talking about, their floor plans, and again, this is the same con that does Frightmare, Niagara Falls, and Hamilton. They usually have a floor map that has the tables of where the celebrities are, and they're usually numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And in the box on the bottom, they'll say Celebrity 1, Celebrity 2, Celebrity 3, so you know what table. This year, they just had Celebrity Area. I don't know why they did that. I know at Hamilton with Veronica Taylor, who was the voice of Ash in Pokemon. She was in a very crummy place based off probably many different factors, including they had so many groups of guests that needed to kind of be together for fandoms. They kind of put her in an area that was really crummy because she had within 6 feet there was a vendor, and she started to get really backed up. So we ended up moving her on the Sunday back to an area that gave her a lot more room for a celebrities table that wasn't there on the next day. I don't know if they kind of saw that, because obviously we had to tell them that we were going to move her table. I don't know if they did that just as we might move some stuff and they don't want to confuse people. I don't know what the feedback was about that possibly. So I don't know, but that did catch my eye that they did not list that. I did have a lot more people come to me at this con asking about different celebrities, which kind of sucked more than anything because I'm a horror fan, but I'm not a giant horror fan, and we had a lot of very niche guests at this one. There was some niche guests from Jaws, there was some niche guests from the Terrifier series, and there were some people asking for some... There was one guy, actually, there's one story. There was one guy who was looking for a guest who was just added at the last minute. I think he was added on Wednesday, and I could not find this guest. We were like, I don't know where the celebrity is. I'll walk with you. I don't mind. And we're just walking up the rows going I can't find this guy. I have no idea where he is. I'm messaging my supervisor, nothing. No one's answering. It wasn't till 30 minutes later that they're like, oh yeah, completely. Yep, that's him. Justin, thank you. Sean Wallen. Couldn't find him either. Out in the main hall. Out in where you like when you first walked in. That's where I was told he was. I didn't know. I couldn't find him, and even when the guest went out to the attendee went out to look for him, he came back. He's like, he's not here, and I'm like, I was told he was here. So, yeah, I don't know if that. I definitely had more people come up to me asking about where people were than any other year. So, I don't know if that's going to change for next year. I kind of hope it is because it saves me having to use my breath. But so overall, that was Frightmare. Again, not a bad con. If you're a horror fan, this is the one to go to. If you are not a horror fan, this is not your con. It's definitely a fun one. There are definitely some vendors there that have merch and stuff that aren't at any other conventions because they are such horror-based conventions, or horror-based vendors, I should say. But it was good. It was good. I would give it, a 7, maybe a 7.5. The overall layout was pretty good. Again, it's just the problem with a couple of the guests canceling. So if you were going just for those two and they bailed, I feel bad for you. And that's that's what happens with stuff like this. You can't really, I don't blame the convention. Believe me, it's not up to them. They are not, I will stress this, they are not booking these guys just to have them cancel so they can get money. Believe me, it burns them if they did that. It would hurt them so much from a reputation standpoint and from a financial standpoint if they were to do that. And by the way, the celebrities don't want to do that. Boomster Joe says, "Wow, you gave it a better rating than Hamilton Comic Con." Because it was a better con than Hamilton Comic Con. And that's kind of the problem. That's the problem with Hamilton Comic Con, is that Frightmare is actually a good con. That venue's a great venue. The Scotiabank Center, or whatever they're calling it now, Niagara Convention Center, it's a good venue. Hamilton sucked because of the venue. Plain and simple. Like, I'm born and bred Hamilton. I love this city. But I cannot wait for them to redo that building because it is a crappy building now. There's rose-colored glasses, and then there's the reality of like, okay, this is bad. So that is it for Frightmare. Let's jump into the second half. Again, if you are still here, please hit that follow button. I greatly appreciate it. So I decided to do a 2-part episode because I didn't want to just come on here and be like, the con was okay, it was meh. I didn't want to waste you guys' time. So I thought, let's do a fun little top 5. And my friend Edith, who I was with over the weekend, we kind of joked about this because I am playing Resident Evil 5 right now. And in that game, there is a sidekick who is kind of annoying. And we kind of joked about this would be a fun little show to do. And I went, you know what? Because of the way the con went, let's do a quick top 5 just to sort of cap off the episode. Boomster Joe says it shows how important a venue is. It really does. Like, really does. You can change the feeling of a con with a venue. Like, I know there are some people, if you know the old Hamilton Comic, and I say old, Hamilton Comic Con from a couple years ago when they were at the Warplane Heritage Museum, I know some people hated that venue. It ain't a bad venue. Like, it really isn't a bad venue. It's bright, it's open, it's clean, it's friendly, the staff's great. It's not a bad venue. It's Hamilton Convention Center is an old building. Like, it's an old building. Like, it's a 70s building. And like, when you have a building with payphones in it in 2025 that are working, probably not the best look. All right. Top 5 useless sidekick characters. So these are all games that I've played. There have probably been games out there that have annoying side characters and sidekicks. I know. I haven't played every game. But these are the 5 that I could think of that just are a waste of space and a waste of time when it comes to being a sidekick and what a sidekick should be. A sidekick to me should be someone who is going to help you in the game, who is going to be there to assist you, who is going to give you items to help you explore the game, give you information. The girl from BioShock Infinite, She is a great sidekick. She's constantly throwing you ammunition, constantly helping you out, progressing the story forward. These are not that. Let's start things off with one that I hate putting it on here because I'm such a big fan of the franchise. But even I have to admit, after 20 minutes of this character, you want to pump a whole bunch of bullets into him. Claptrap. I love Borderlands. I am such a big Borderlands fan. I cannot wait to play Borderlands 4. But Claptrap is annoying. He has some fun moments. He has some funny moments where you're just like, that's a funny joke. Like when he does the stairs line in Borderlands 2, that's funny. The problem is 80% of his dialogue is annoying as hell. He doesn't really help you as much as he should. If you haven't played Borderlands, this is the character that sort of talks about the world of Borderlands and Pandora and all of the things you'll be doing. He is sort of your information robot. And he is annoying as hell. And even in the movies, when Jack Black plays him, he is annoying. And you could have made him a little more sympathetic and a little more understanding of a character. But he just gets annoying after a while. I can't say the word annoying enough. And again, I'm a fan of this character, but it just grains on you after a while. So Claptrap is number 5. And I think anyone who's a fan of the Borderlands franchise will admit he deserves a spot on this list. Not number 1, but does deserve a spot. Number 4. Let's talk about number 4. So there was a pastime back in the day where people would gather and they would go somewhere. They would all gather. They would go somewhere. There would be a nice dimly lit area. Sometimes they would have, fancy party nights. They would rent some shoes. They would pick up a ball, whether it's a big one or a small one, and they would roll it down a big lane and hit a bunch of pins. This was something I did a lot when I was a kid. My dad would take me and a bunch of people and we'd go bowling all the time. I loved it. But over the past several years, this has become something that just doesn't happen anymore. Nobody really likes bowling. There are people who are diehard bowling fans, but for the general public, no one wants to bowl. And there was at least 4 in this area when I was a kid. Now there's 1, and even that one doesn't do that well. And I was trying to think about when that stopped happening. When did people stopped enjoying going bowling? And I think it was when this a-hole wouldn't stop calling us in GTA 4. This is Roman Bellic. And if you've played Grand Theft Auto 4, you know how many times Roman Bellic would call you on your cell phone, no matter what you're doing, and just wants to go bowling. And I think any GTA player can fully remember being in a giant firefight with either the police, whether it's a rival gang, whether it's just random people in the streets in GTA 4, and your fucking cell phone goes off, and this a-hole is on the other line wanting to go bowling. And we all hated him. And we knew you had, for the amount of times he called you, even a player who's never played the game, first time playing it, he calls enough that you realize I'm gonna have to go bowling at least once. And the bowling minigame is horrible. It is boring. So you're not only getting annoyed by a character, you're having to do a side quest that is boring. And that just makes it, I think anyone who's played the GTA franchise says, what's a character that you just don't want to deal with? Roman is on that list at number 4. He is just too much. I've heard they're thinking of remaking that because they have remade, we can call it remastered if you've actually played them, 3, Vice, and San Andreas. I've heard rumors that they are going to be updating and remaking GTA 4. probably after GTA 6 comes out, whenever that's going to be. But I really hope that they cut back on him phoning you, or if there's a way you can just block his number. That would be even better. Just block his number. So we've got Claptrap, we've got Roman at number 4. Let's go into number 3. We're going to bring it back. We've done some modern ones. Borderlands, a PS3 game. Roman Bellic, a PS3 game. Let's move it back even further. Let's move it back to the 64-bit era. The N64, the game that started my love for the N64. Was not Super Mario, was not GoldenEye, was not Zelda. It was Star Fox 64. And when I say Star Fox 64, there's one annoying character that comes to everyone's mind. Slippy Toad. Slippy Toad is the most hapless pilot as ever existed in Starfleet, in Star Fox. In Star Fox 64, you have to save this character so many times. Like, when the idea of being a kid and going out and playing with your friends, and as you're running out the door, your mom says, "Bring your little brother with you." He's the little bloody brother who, I don't know how he got accepted to the team. When he is not fearing for his life by, as Justice says, "Fox, get this guy off me." When he's not doing that, he's good. He's good, but there is way more negative and, yes, yelling, "Help me." He's not worth having. The only thing he's really good at is bringing up the big boss's health bar, which, here's a thought. If we don't have that, the mission's still the same. Shoot the thing till it dies. It's just knowing mentally how much more I need to do this. Other than that, just keep firing at the thing. When it blows up, mission accomplished. Real easy, not a necessary character. And having to be saved over and over and over again gets annoying after a while. So Slippy is number 3, and I think anyone that has played that game understands why he is at number 3. Let's jump around the same era. We're sticking with the N64. We have Slippy Toad at number 3 with Star Fox 64. We could not do a list without this character, because back when the N64 came out, this was sort of the epitome of annoying characters. This one was helpful to a degree, but again, same with Roman, same with Slippy, even Claptrap, just didn't know when to shut up. Navi from Legends of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The memes of, "Hey, listen," are etched in my brain since I was a kid. We actually, when I first started going to Fan Expo, my wife, who came with me for the first time, I think I had been doing it for about 3 years. The first time we were together and went together, she made herself up a Link costume, and my friend Krista made up a fairy cosplay and had a little sign that she carried with her that said, "Hey, listen," because everyone knew exactly what that cosplay was, even if she looked nothing like that. I've admitted here on the show I'm not a giant Zelda fan. However, I have played Ocarina of Time, and I've played it enough to know that that little thing is annoying. That little thing is useless as well. Again, doesn't need to be in the game. There are signs throughout the game that help you understand the world. She is not necessary. She can simply shut up, and when I need to be saved, she can hop out of the jar and save me, but not needed, and not needed to be calling me out and stopping me from progressing in the game to explain backstory that I really don't care about. I want to break some pots. I want to cut some grass. I want to kill some spiders. And that's it. Shut up. So number 2 is Navi. The final spot on this is my number 1. And just like this show, we have split number 1 into 2. Because both of these characters are from the same franchise, are in back-to-back games, and are both annoying. And this is how my friend Edith and I came up with this list. This was going to be my number 1 because I am playing the game right now. Ashley and Sheva from Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. Yes, Justin. Yeah. Useless characters, in my opinion. Let's start. Thank you. Edith is in chat. Yes, you knew I had to split both because they're both bad. So I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I love Resident Evil 2. I love Resident Evil 3 with Jill. Resident Evil 4, I just played with the remake. And then I'm playing Resident Evil 5 for the first time right now because I did not really enjoy it when I first came out, but I decided to give it a shot now because I'm trying to I want to play all of the Resident Evil games before the next one comes out, because I know the next one is going to make a lot of references to past games based off where the location is. It's in Raccoon City. So I want to play Resident Evil 4. And Ashley, as Edith is quoting her in the chat of, I need help, Leon. This is the president's daughter. This is the girl that you are trying to save in the town in Resident Evil 4. Just go on YouTube after we're done the show and watch compilation videos of people trying to kill other characters in the game and Ashley running and standing right in front of the barrel of the gun, and friendly fire is on and she gets blown away. There are hundreds of videos, and I could probably make my own because there are so many times where this girl just runs and stares down the barrel of the bloody gun and just gets blown away, and you gotta restart the mission again. And getting grabbed and getting kidnapped and making run away. Oh, we got a whole bunch of enemies coming at me. I'm just going to run. What does she do? Not run, and gets grabbed. And then I got to turn around and save her and waste ammunition and then start running. And she gets grabbed again. I got to come back because she has to fucking follow. Just annoying. And then we have Sheva, who is not needed at all. Seriously, she is not needed in Resident Evil 5. If you took her out of the game and said, you're going to run through this game completely solo without her, wouldn't notice a difference. Now, I do understand that Resident Evil 5 was kind of their attempt at making a co-op game, because you can, one person play as Chris Redfield, who is the main character, and one person play as Sheva, and you can both co-op the game. I get that. But the AI that they put into this character just makes me so frustrated. And also not realizing until a certain point in the game that the enemies don't really care about her in some aspects. There is a point in this game where you have to walk through a chest level marsh. And in that marsh, there are alligators. And the alligators are one hit kill. They grab you, you're instantly dead, you start from the beginning. So I am in this marsh, and I have to get from point A to point B through the marsh, getting through the alligators. I am playing this over and over and over again, and every time I see an alligator go towards her, boom, I'm shooting the alligators. And some take one shot, some take 3, some take 10. I don't fucking know. I'm like, what happens if the alligator grabs Sheva? If you're playing in single player, the alligators will avoid her and not even attack her. So I am sitting there wasting ammunition, firing at these things, when I could easily just run around them and save all my bullets. Does it tell you that? No. Moments like that just go, okay, so she's not needed. I have given this girl every gun in the game. I have given her that rifle, actually. And if she does not use anything but the first pistol in the beginning of the game, I've given her that pistol, I've given her a shotgun, I've given her an SMG, I've given her a rifle, she will sit on that pistol until the end of the bloody game. And I've just said, screw it, I'm going to take all of the guns, you are going to take all of the health and your pistol, and that's it. And I've just let her just go nuts. Just keep firing that one pistol until you are happy. It is just, it's one of the characters that just gets on my nerves. So, because of the frustration with both these characters, Ashley and Sheva are both on this list, and they are number one on the top 5 useless sidekicks in gaming. I hope you guys enjoyed that list. It is frustrating. It's frustrating that I still have a little bit of this game to play through, and I just don't want to deal with her. All right. That is it, folks. We are at the 15-minute mark. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. Next week is a big episode. You guys, I hope you all will tune in for it. Next week is the one that I've been talking about for a long time, and I think will give you guys a lot of help if you are a cosplayer, if you are an artist, whatever. I'm going to be talking about social media's impact on cosplay. Why am I doing this episode? This episode is kind of one of the most important things that we're going to talk about here on the show, because in the world, you want to show off your art, you want to show off what you've built, what you're wearing, and you can only do it on social media. And there are a lot of benefits to it, there are a lot of negativity to it, and we're going to talk about all that, especially from a marketing standpoint, because I do have a marketing background. I have been in the marketing world for about a decade now. We're going to talk all about that. I've got some questions that I asked you guys a while back to send me your questions about, marketing, social media, cosplay, etc. And I'm going to answer those next week. So 7 o'clock next week, we're going to go all through social media, cosplay. We'll probably touch on AI. We'll probably touch on a whole bunch of stuff like that. So show up next week with your thinking caps on. You probably have a lot of opinions, and you're going to put them in the chat, which I can't wait to talk about. We're going to have a lot of fun next week. If you're still here and you haven't already, click that like button, click that subscribe button, click that follow button. It means a lot to me. We got a bunch of cosplay stuff coming out every week. I got a video dropping every Wednesday to talk about cosplay. It's either going to be a cosplay breakdown, where I'm going to break down a cosplay that I've built or found or thrifted or whatever. I'm also got stuff about cosplay storage, because I just updated my storage bins. We're going to talk about one video that I finished today, actually, is when to not take a photo of a cosplayer, because that seems to still be a bloody thing that we have to deal with at cons. So I got a cosplay video every single week. We've got questions on Instagram every single morning. We've got some other questions on TikTok. We've got a bunch over there and a bunch over here. Follow me on everything, because there's going to be tons and tons and tons of content over the next few weeks, next few months. Have yourselves a good night. Go Jays. Screw Dodgers. Have a good night, folks, and I will see you next week. Take care. I love you all. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.